I didn't include it. And yesterday I received a telephone call from an old friend of mine, college roommate, best man at my wedding. And he said, well, tell me the middle and end of your speech. And I said, the middle and end? Don't you want to hear the beginning? And he said, I know how it's going to start. You're going to say, it's Friday, and you know what that means. And he said, if you don't, they'll boo you off the stage. And so I wrote that in here, but Alexis, since you've covered that for me, I guess I'll just skip that part and move on. First of all, let me say that I am glad to see that you all turned down your invitations to the royal wedding so that you could be here tonight with us. I know I sent mine back. I said something more important to do. Sorry, Kate. Welcome to all the parents, families, teachers, administrators, and of course, students to our event this evening. I want you all to know how honored I was when I received the letter from your president, Alexis Jordan, inviting me to be tonight's keynote speaker at the National Honor Society induction ceremony. This isn't my first time to come to one of these events. I sat on the faculty admission committee for NHS for many years and often attended this observance. My own son and daughter were also members of the same organization, and I attended their inductions as well. But as often as I've been here before, this is the first time I've ever been invited to speak at it. Actually, it's kind of bizarre for me to be invited to speak by students at all. Much of my teaching career, rather than encouraging me to speak, I often felt they secretly wished that I would just shut up. No, actually, that's not true at all. I have been honored over the years to usually have students who were intelligent, eager to learn, and extremely nice to me, exactly like those gathered here this evening. When Ms. Nora gave me the invitation letter, the first thing that went through my mind was, what exactly is a keynote speaker? So I took some time away from my fanatic pursuit of the Facebook game Mafia Wars and decided to use the computer as the research tool it was meant to be and looked up the definition of keynote. There were a number of definitions of what a keynote speaker and speech were. For example, one of these definitions said that the keynote speaker is one who has attained nationwide fame or notoriety. Well, unfortunately, in all modesty, I must admit that that is not me. Though there are two Facebook pages out there on the It's Friday and you know what that means setting. Never quite figured that out why there's two of them. Another definition said that a keynote speaker is an accomplished academic or celebrity invited by the students. Well, I've got to admit, that sounded pretty good to me. Well, I know I'm not a celebrity, but to be considered an accomplished academic, that sounded kind of cool. Undoubtedly, I was an academic, but how accomplished I was can only be determined by the students I had in class. One scary thing I found in my research was that a keynote speech is usually 45 minutes to 60 minutes in length. But have no fear, I have no intention of taking up that much of your time. I also learned that a keynote speech was supposed to be inspirational. He said he was just too busy with his new one-man show. And Republican Majority Leader Brian Bosma of the Indiana House of Representatives admitted that he really didn't know where Northwest Indiana was. Now, look, to give Mr. Bosma his due, he did send two of his interns up this way to figure out where Lake County was. Unfortunately, they exited the expressway on Klein Avenue North and ran into some kind of bridge problem that have never been heard from since. So, that left me. Probably the most important thing I learned in my research of keynote speeches was that the speech should set the tone and reinforce the core message of the evening. So what is the core message of this event? Well, that's an easy one. celebration. As teachers and administrators, we celebrate that we have been privileged to know such a fine group of young people, and that we may have had some small positive effect upon their lives. You know, some people think that the reason these students are admitted to National Honor Society is that they are smart. Well, they are smart, but that barely scratches the surface. Not only must they earn exemplary grades, they must actively participate in numerous clubs and teams. They must be willing to volunteer their time in various service projects for their community. And finally, we as educators must believe that these students will reflect well on our school. We celebrate them for their achievements. Parents and families celebrate these young people tonight. Oh, you may not want them to get a big head about their achievements, Mom and Dad, but it is impossible not to be proud of them as they receive that NHS pin this evening. You take joy in their achievements, and if you are completely honest, you take joy in the help that you have given them over the years. Whether consciously or not, you have contributed greatly to this night and have served as an inspiration to bring them to this point. As families, you celebrate these fine young people. The students themselves celebrate their achievements tonight. Oh, I know it's not always cool to act like you care. But if you are here tonight, you do care. You cared enough not to just do your schoolwork, but to excel at it. You cared enough not just to help yourself or pad your college resume, but to help others by participating in your community. You help people at nursing homes and in soup kitchens. You plant trees and help beautify the town. You volunteer at animal shelters and in dozens of other activities. You cared enough to do more than merely attend our school, but participated actively in our school through clubs, choirs, teams, and bands. And many of you served as officers or captains in these organizations. You represent your school proudly. You are members of the Highland High School National Honor Society. But more than that, you are Highland High School. For now and the rest of your lives, the way the world will know HHS is not as a building, but as you and what you do. Celebrate yourselves. There can be no better agent of our school's reputation than the students I see in front of me now. Because of you, I can be proud to say that I taught here at Highland High School. Finally, let me give you one last cause of celebration. That being the long-winded keynote speech is almost over, and we can continue on with the rest of the evening, which means getting out there and having some cookies and stuff. So thank you, and I celebrate you all.